So, with the level of competition that's made available for him, with the amount of money that he has to put up in the purse, with all the odds practically being stacked against him, with all of the hate that he receives from not only just the fan base but even in boxing circles, this guy still manages to reign on top right now. He's soaring to the top. You know, I am tired of hearing all of the negativity that this man receives due to the fact that um, he's not in the ring as of yet with somebody like a Keith Thurman or a weak Sean Porter or a weak Danny Garcia. Um, we can keep going on and on and on with the names in the welterweight division. Sorry, guys, I'm also watching the Patriots game right now, but um, it's time for this man to get his just due. It's time for all of the hate to dissipate. It's time for everybody to start taking notice. We've been telling you guys over and over again who Errol Spence is, what he's capable of doing, how his upside continues to rise. We haven't seen the best yet from Errol Spence. And I know a lot of people out there will keep arguing and saying, well, we haven't seen the best yet because he hasn't been in the ring with the best. He is in the ring with the best available selection of competition. Guys don't want to get in there due to the fact that their purse is not going to be fat at the end of the fight, or they don't want to get in there because they're afraid to take the beat down. Either way, it's a bad look, and it's a bad look for boxing. I told you guys in my last video that many didn't watch that Keith Thurman is holding up boxing right now. And the reason why I say that is the fact that he um, he wants to try to prolong the inevitable. You know, he knows that his reign on top is very short. He knows that he has to get in there in a few short seconds and fight somebody of superstar caliber. He knows that. He's already gotten in the ring with Sean Porter, I believe. He's already gotten in the ring with Danny Garcia. So we've already seen what he can do at the so-called top level of the welterweight division. They'll claim that it's the top level in boxing, but it's really not. Danny Garcia, we already know he's a one-trick pony, and we know that Sean Porter comes forward. He's not a monster. He's not a beast. Sean Porter is a wild animal in the ring. He makes for an awkward opponent because he doesn't really have true technique and true boxing skill. What he does is he likes to muscle down his opponents and get all wild and swing all wild. And it's hard for boxers to make an adjustment to that. So they want to say that Sean Porter is stiff competition, which he is not. He's a come forward, flat footed fighter. He's awkward because he's wild, not awkward because he has a halfway decent skill set. Man, Jaguars don't look like they playing. But he's holding up the sport, man. He's holding up the sport because he wants to try to protect his brand, and he wants to try to pull a Mayweather and wait out these guys. And once the smoke clears and all of these other fighters have gotten in the ring because they don't have a choice, they've gotten in the ring with whoever and finally have taken a loss. Then he'll start picking from the selection of the guys after the smoke clears. He can see clear who he wants to go after and what makes sense. I understand the business side of boxing. We all do. Those of us that truly watch this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's holding up the sport, and people are getting sick and tired of it. I'm with Errol Spence. Um, he does have a right to if you will, wait till his shoulder, his elbow heals, and then go after a tune-up fight And then from there, he needs to pick top level. Sean Porter, we already saw what he can do. We don't need to see Sean Porter back in the ring with Keith Thurman again for a rematch. We need to see Keith Thurman in there with Errol Spence. There's nobody else left unless he's gonna try to get Canelo, talk Canelo down and weight and get him back to the welterweight division and face somebody like Canelo. So until then, there is no other option for Keith Thurman other than Spence. We're getting tired of waiting. We're getting tired of the excuses. We're getting tired of all of this, this making a mockery of the sport, man, for the sake of just trying to protect the brand. We there is not going to be any more multi-million-dollar fights. There is no more big ones left. Like I said before in another video, these guys would be lucky to see, you know, 400 grand, 300 grand, even 200 grand. These guys are not going to get close to making millions of dollars in these fights anymore. The fight may gross, two mil, 3 mil, maybe even 4 mil, but these guys are not going to see that type of money at the end of the day when they got to pay taxes and take care of promoters and take care of managers and such. So, excuse me. So, sorry guys, I'm just barely getting over the flu. So, but we're not going to see that anymore. So it's time to start putting together some good fights, putting this stuff on TV, on regular TV, and let's move forward, man, with the sport of boxing. Now, as for last night, Spence did exactly what I thought he would do. He looked better than I thought he would look, though. He looked different. He looked a lot more sharper. He uh, he was very, very aggressive. He's always aggressive, but he was extremely aggressive in this fight. He came prepared, man. The jab was working for him. He was going to the body. He was working Peterson, man, from the top to the bottom and back to the top again. Like I said in multiple videos, I love it when boxers can do that, can mix up the attack, and then on top of it, be the guy that's bringing the pressure. He was the aggressor. He was coming forward all night. He was using different angles here and there to confuse Peterson. And the reason why I knew Peterson was gonna lose the fight, I didn't think. Well, I did think he was gonna. I thought it was gonna be a stoppage before the fight even happened um, by either one of these guys. But I thought I thought Peterson would bring it a little more, but then I had to think about his inactivity. He hasn't been as active, but we have seen Errol Spence very active over the last year or two, and I already knew he was going to be ready. He didn't have any ring rust on him. I knew he was going to be sharp. I knew he was going to be determined. I knew he was going to be the aggressor. I knew he was going to break Peterson down to the body. I knew that he was going to stop this guy. And, Peterson is a tough competitor, man. We already know that. We know how tough he is, but we've seen him lose countless times now. I think this makes his fourth loss, maybe his fifth loss now. So, but on paper, this fight looked good. It looked very good. Both guys 5'9". I think Errol Spence is 5'9" and a half. Both guys had, I think, a 72-inch reach. Both guys are pretty, pretty solid welterweights. I think Peterson is a little bigger than Errol Spence. Errol Spence is still, growing into his man body, and we haven't seen the best yet from him. But it was a very, very good fight, man. I thought Errol Spence. I mean, he looked scary good, man. He looked scary good. He was just barely getting started. He wasn't winded. He wasn't tired. He wasn't deterred. That guy. I mean, he had multiple game plans ready. If Peterson would have pressed the action a little more, we would have saw a lot more out of Errol Spence. We saw how he was getting ready to get real loose. We saw how comfortable he got before the seventh round even kicked in. He started getting real comfortable, and when the seventh round kicked in, he was just he took his foot off the gas a little bit and started just kind of playing around with Peterson. So I'm telling you, man. I mean, these guys. There's nobody out there that's gonna stop Errol Spence. They can't stop him. They can't. Not right now. I don't see anybody that's gonna stop him. Crawford is not gonna be able to stop this guy. His attack is just too solid, man. I mean, the only thing that you can hope to do against Errol Spence is make him look very awkward in the ring, make him look indecisive, make him look very challenged in the ring. As far as confused is what I mean. Make him look confused, make him look lost. That's the only thing you can do to this guy. Maybe catch him off balance, knock him down, something like that, and then just keep him confused for the rest of the night. Other than that, just trying to beat this guy down and things like that, it's not going to work out. But anyway, man, that's my take on the fight. That's my take on Keith Thurman. That's my take on Errol Spence. It was a hell of a fight, and this video is a little too long. But hit me up, man. Let me know what you guys think. What's the future for Errol Spence? How do you feel about Spence now after you've seen what he can do against some of these top names in the welterweight division? And who you think he should be facing next if it's not Keith Thurman? And I don't want to hear nothing about Sean Porter and bum cherry picking Garcia. I don't want to hear it. Peace.